Bonjour, rich people. It is me, Haley, and I am a financial pop star. Wow, that was actually good. If you like watching Emily in Paris, I don't know if you can tell I watched, and you also like watching your money grow, welcome to my Chanel. Okay, speaking of Chanel, what the f was in Emily's Chanel shopping bag? Like, how did she even afford to shop there as a digital strategist? That scene, and like a lot of other scenes actually, made Emily in Paris so unrealistic financially. Unless season 2 is called Emily in Bankruptcy Court, I'm not watching. And neither should you. So let's go through all of Emily in Paris's biggest money mistakes. Okay, so obviously Emily in Paris is a fantasy. Like, I'm not watching this show thinking, wow, this documentary is like really good. Emily in Paris makes it glamorous to be financially ignorant. In order for financial literacy to become more mainstream in our society, we have to start writing financially literate television characters. Why? 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 Then it will trend. And I know what you're thinking.
Emily in Paris isn't about money.
But it's about life, right? You know, it's about travel, it's about relationships, it's about love, it's about travel. She moves to Paris. Just because it's not called Emily on Wall Street doesn't mean that they have to ignore money completely to the point where their main character seems financially reckless and irresponsible. That's dangerous. Take her apartment, for example. Sorry, not her apartment. Her chambre de bonne, which is French for tiny maid's quarters, LOL. I know, Rosetta Stone, it really does work. To which I say, like, if those are tiny maid's quarters, give me a freaking apron and a duster, sign me up. I wanna be a maid. That apartment was outrageous. Huge windows, it was in such a chic location. She could fit a big bed to bring all of her Parisian lovers. Like, that was not a tiny maid's quarters. That was like an epic palace. Emily's apartment is completely unrealistic for her salary bracket, which sort of reminds me of another famous TV heroine who also lived in a wild apartment, cough, Carrie Bradshaw cough, which is not surprising considering that the creator of Sex and the City, Darren Star, created Emily in Paris as well, which, yes, at the time was revolutionary. Like, to show single women above the age of 30 actually enjoying sex instead of just being spinsters, that was iconic. But what I didn't like about Sex and the City is the same thing I don't like about Emily in Paris, and that was the money lessons. So basically what I'm trying to say is that we need to stop Darren Star from creating characters that make no sense financially because it sets a bad example. Oh, and I don't want to just blame this on Darren because Patricia Field, I'm coming for you too, girl. The famed stylist from Sex and the City also flew to Paris to style Lily Collins, aka Emily, for the show. And did she ever? Emily Cooper serves 52 looks in the season. It was quite the fashion show, but also quite the catastrophe. Patricia's fashion choices did not match the character's budgetary constraints. I mean, I literally read an article where Patricia Field says that she didn't care if Carrie couldn't afford the Manolos, she was gonna dress her in them anyways. And she also didn't care if Emily could afford the Chanel. Part of your job is to learn about the character and know their budgetary constraints and then like dress them accordingly. The expensive wardrobe that Emily wears despite her low salary glamorizes spending beyond your means. Yeah, she looks good, but she also looks dumb. Why couldn't they have dressed her in Zara, living in a shoebox apartment, chasing her dreams, instead of dressing her in Chanel, living in a legitimate mansion, living beyond them? If you're watching a show that glamorizes financial ignorance, there's a risk that you're gonna think that's okay too. Okay, gotta go get more eyebrows, but if you liked this video and you want me to point out more financial discrepancies in shows, comment below, would love to hear from you. And stay rich, bitch.